Human bought an old house, under the floorboards. He found a caged alien girl covered in scars. Ethan had always loved the quiet allure of old houses. When he stumbled upon the weathered Victorian on the outskirts of town, its creaking roof and overgrown garden called to him like a whisper from another era. The price was astonishingly low, and though the neighbors spoke in hushed tones about strange things in the house, he shrugged it off. He wanted a fresh start, and the house seemed perfect for a solitary man with too many books and too little company. The first few days were mundane, painting, cleaning, and unpacking. But on the fourth night, Ethan was woken by a faint, rhythmic scratching from beneath the floorboards of the study. He froze, listening. The sound was deliberate, almost like someone was trying to communicate. "It's just an old house settling," he muttered to himself, though his stomach twisted with unease. Curiosity gnawed at him, stronger than fear. The next morning, armed with a crowbar and a flashlight, he began prying up the boards near the corner of the room. A faint metallic scent reached him, sharp and oddly sweet. He froze mid-pull when a soft, raspy voice whispered, "Please help me." The floorboard cracked open to reveal a small iron cage. Inside, curled on herself, was a girl, or what looked like a girl. Her skin shimmered faintly under the sunlight filtering through the dusty windows, tinged with colors Ethan couldn't name. Deep scars marred her arms and legs, and her large reflective eyes were wet with tears and fear. "Who are you?" Ethan stammered, kneeling. The girl flinched but did not speak. Then, in a voice like wind over broken glass, she whispered, "I'm not from here." Ethan's mind reeled. An alien. Here. In his house. Every rational thought collided with the impossible reality before him. But he didn't hesitate. The lock on the cage was old and rusted. With a few careful maneuvers, he freed her. She stumbled forward, collapsing into his arms. "You're safe now," he murmured, though the words felt hollow against the trauma etched into her body. Over the next few days, Ethan learned her name, Liora. She was from a distant world, captured by a clandestine research organization decades ago and hidden in stasis within the house. The scars were proof of cruel experiments, meant to suppress her natural abilities. Ethan did what he could to help her recover. He cleaned her wounds, provided food, and for the first time she smiled without fear. Her touch was cold and alien, yet familiar in a way that tugged at his heart. At night, she would whisper stories of her home, a world of floating gardens and skies streaked with gold. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the jagged trees, a sound outside made them both freeze. Metallic boots against gravel. The organization hadn't given up. They'd tracked her. "We have to hide," Ethan urged, guiding her to the basement. Inside, Ethan discovered a hidden door behind the shelves. It led to a tunnel, carved into the house's foundation long ago, probably used by bootleggers. It was cramped, but it would do. Liora shivered, wrapping herself in a blanket Ethan had found. "Why are you helping me?" she asked softly. "Because no one deserves to be trapped," Ethan replied. "Especially not someone like you." The chase was terrifying. The agents were methodical, breaking through doors and scanning every inch of the house. Ethan and Liora stayed ahead by using the secret passages, ducking into shadows, hearts hammering. Leora's alien senses allowed them to predict the intruder's moves, guiding Ethan with whispered directions. Eventually, they reached a small shed in the overgrown garden, one Ethan hadn't noticed before. Inside was an old, rusted Jeep. "Can you drive?" Liora asked, her voice trembling with determination. Ethan nodded. They sped away just as the agents reached the main house, the gravel crunching under tires and boots alike. They drove until night swallowed the horizon, finally stopping at a remote lake surrounded by thick forest. Liora touched the water's surface, and for a fleeting moment, her scars seemed to shimmer and fade, as if the lake absorbed some of her pain. She looked at Ethan, eyes wide with gratitude. "You saved me. Even though you didn't know me." Ethan swallowed, staring at her. "You're not alone anymore," he said. "And I'm not leaving." As the stars reflected on the water, Liora slowly leaned into him. Not as an alien or a prisoner, but as someone who had found the first glimmer of trust in a world that had betrayed her. And for the first time in decades she felt hope. The night was silent, except for the gentle lapping of water against the shore. In that silence, they both understood one truth. Whatever had hunted her, whatever shadows lingered in the past, they would face them together. For in the ruins of her captivity, Ethan had become more than a rescuer. He had become home. And as the first light of dawn painted the forest in gold, Liora whispered something that made Ethan's heart tighten. "I thought I was alone in the universe, but I'm not anymore." The chase had driven them to the edge of exhaustion. Ethan guided Liora through the secret passages of the old house, the intruder's metallic boots echoing behind them. Her alien senses whispered warnings, predicting every movement of the agents hunting her. When they finally burst through the last door, Ethan grabbed Leora's hand, pulling her into the overgrown garden where a forgotten shed hid an old rusted jeep. "Can you drive?" she asked, her voice trembling. Ethan nodded, and together they roared away, the gravel crunching under pursuit. The world outside seemed impossibly vast, the stars gleaming as if cheering their escape. They drove until darkness swallowed the horizon, finally stopping at a secluded lake embraced by thick forest. Liora knelt beside the water, letting her fingers touch the surface. For a moment, her scars shimmered faintly, almost as if the lake absorbed some of her pain. She looked at Ethan, her wide alien eyes filled with a mixture of awe and gratitude. "You saved me. Even though you didn't know me," she whispered. Ethan shook his head. "You're not alone anymore. And I'm not leaving." The night held a fragile peace, broken only by the gentle lap of water against the shore. Liora leaned into him, no longer a prisoner, no longer afraid. She had found trust, hope, and safety in a human who saw beyond her scars and alien origin. As the first light of dawn touched the forest, she whispered softly, "I thought I was alone in the universe, but I'm not anymore." Ethan smiled, feeling the weight of that truth settle between them. Whatever darkness had hunted her, whatever shadows lingered, they would face them together. In the ruins of captivity, she had found freedom, and in him a home. And for the first time in decades, Liora allowed herself to hope.